Hello and welcome to Hot Pursuit, part of Ahval News Online podcast and video series. Today we are going to talk about the elections, second tier of the elections in North Cyprus, and it is obviously definitely a game changer. The result is a surprise, and it really requires a thorough analysis. I have with me Hasan Kahvecioğlu, a dear colleague from Northern Cyprus with Halkın Sesi newspaper. Welcome, Hasan.
Well, thank you.
And Cengiz Aktar, Professor Aktar is the columnist with Ahval News Online. Cengiz, hello.
Good morning to all.
Well, now the result is unexpectedly for many, 51.7% for Ersin Tatar and 48.2% for Mustafa Akıncı, former president, let's say, independent. And Akıncı this morning declared that he's quitting the politics. This is something fresh, but let's begin with you, Hasan. Well, how do we read into these results? It's certainly a kind of a shock for many, also on the island.
I think the results showing that from now on, in this part of the island, we will not see as a pro-solution community, high standards community, and I think the international community will start to think about that in Northern Cyprus. We have the community completely controlled by Erdogan's regime. This is the first feeling of me. It is not so easy to accept this, but they show it very, very, very openly. And Ankara, unfortunately, in many aspects, they interfere into the elections directly. They show their huge power on the community, especially the settlers community, not only Turkish Cypriots, because I really believe that Turkish Cypriots this time, they had a brave struggle as a real Cypriots. They had a brave struggle against Erdogan. So this election was completely between Erdogan and Akıncı, and those who are supporting the solution of Cyprus and those who are supporting the federal bi-communal federation for Cyprus. So I'm not so.
Were you surprised by the result yourself?
Yes, of course it was surprise. It was surprise, but we couldn't be able to stop this interference because in one side we have 80 million authoritarian regime with money, with everything, the power, the big power, on a small 100,000 community. So it was a big asymmetrical something. The war was completely asymmetric.
Asymmetrical battle.
Yes. It was completely asymmetrical battle. Yes, as you said.
Yes, go on.
So from now on, there is another message which makes me very unhappy, that we are giving the Greek Cypriots and UN and EU the message that Turkish Cypriots are not the real decision making makers, or the real authoritarian the voice is Turkish Cypriots voice. Erdogan is the man who will decide for everything regarding North Cyprus, as he did, regarding the Varosha opening or partial opening, let's say.
Cengiz, how do you read the results?
Frankly, yes. First and foremost, I'm not surprised at all. I wrote about that, and it was a total engineering by Ankara. Until recently, in the opinion polls, Ersin Tatar was in the third position, and he came first yesterday, and that is crystal clear. The entire thing was manipulated by Ankara. As you know, the file was under the direct responsibility of the Vice President of Turkey, Fuat Oktay, and he was running the show. He is in charge of Northern Cyprus. Exactly, Cyprus affairs, and then and they did it. I mean, and frankly, it was expected. And I see immediate, consequences. Ersin Tatar, like the Ankara regime, is against the bizonal, bicommunal federal state formula. They will be looking for an independent Northern Cyprus, which will never ever happen, which means that there will be a permanent blockage at the international level. But frankly, I don't know whether this is, this statehood issue is how high on the agenda of Ankara. I'm not sure. I think the message of Erdoğan yesterday was crystal clear. He phoned Ersin Tatar and said, and congratulated him, of course, and said very clearly, I'm sure that we will continue our good collaboration in terms of searching for hydrocarbon. This is what they want. Now, with the Northern Cyprus as a de facto 82nd province of Turkey, I think now they have their hands completely liberated with all these seabed and continental shelf and the exclusive economic zone fuss that is underway. They will just claim what they want, and if it doesn't work, they may go for the annexation formula, like in Crimea, or like in 1938 through a referendum, like in Hatay, the Antioch, and the Northern Cyprus, which is completely colonized, unfortunately, today, will ask the motherland, Turkey, to be absorbed. And this is where we are. And then the international community, I'll stop there, and the international community, and especially the European Union, will just look and express their deepest concerns.
Do you agree, Hasan, with this analysis?
Of course, I fully agree. But this time I'm expecting more from UN, because UN was expecting from Akinci more participation, more contribution regarding the 5+1 negotiations that they are on the way. So I was expecting. I am still expecting something more from UN. There are, as you may know, there are many strong demonstrations from Greek Cypriots regarding Maraş opening, and there was very high, big, strong demonstrations, and I think they will continue on this, and this may affect the decisions of UN or EU. I don't know, but it is for sure that Tatar's win will have huge implications for the Cyprus issue. And I'm also expecting Turkey's foreign policy to be more aggressive. And Tatar already showed last night how much aggressive he will do, how much aggressive he will be. So,
in what terms aggressive? What do you mean by aggressive? More aggressive, more offensive? How?
He was giving the messages to the Greek side. He was having a part in his speech, and he was giving, and he was like an authoritarian man who is giving, urge them, do this, do that, be happy, don't do this. You have to take in account to Turkish Cypriot policy, but not Turkish Cypriot policy, the realities. And what is the reality? TRNC. And he was still, of course, he will make many, many mistakes because he is not a mature politician, and he will make, and last night he did many mistakes in Turkish, and he said he will represent TRNC at the table. which is impossible. He still thinks that he will represent TRNC there, which is there is no any TRNC
as recognized.
So from now on, unfortunately, we will see more interference in our local political affairs, internal affairs.
That's what I want to hear more about. I am curious about this because it's a well-known fact that there are some mafia formations on the northern part of the island, which is a sort of disturbing the order from time to time, a sort of a threat, the social harmony. And also now with the election results, I think the Turkish nationalist segment will be emboldened to act even more spectacularly. So you called it as a divisive election, more ever than before. So what would be the result of this division? Maybe never to be overcome in the near future or later.
I think this is the biggest
issue.
One of the biggest results of these elections. They divide the community into two. Until now, there was not such a division in the community, let me say. But now the votes show very clearly that despite all this interference in our local politics, generally all over the northern part of Cyprus, there was not any, clear success of Tatar.
Mm-hmm.
In Nicosia, you can see that Akinci was the first, and it was a good percentage. It was 57%. Again in Güzelyurt, again in Lefka, Akinci won. So in these three provinces, Akinci won. There is only one province in, I mean the Karpas Peninsula, which is a place. It is a region that the jobless people are too much, and there is no any economical activity there. They are very, very poor, and unfortunately, the majority of the population there is settlers. Let me say. Or in the other terminology, we can say that those who are having two IDs. So in this area, only this area made a 5,000 votes difference with Akinci, and Tatar covered the whole election. So it means settlers' votes completely changed the whole picture.
Whole picture, yes.
And now it is a completely division. A small part of the island votes 70% in favor of Tatar, and they change the whole picture. So when you look to the picture and in details, you make the analysis, you can see that Turkish Cypriots, despite all this interference, the money, the openings, the ceremonies, the Erdogan's personal involvement, all these things didn't make any affection. So I am very proud of this. They show their will completely. But in this one small region that we know the structure of the, let me say, the population, they changed the whole structure. So from now on, the division will be there. And in their speeches, you can see this. Also, there is another provocateur party leader that they advocate that they are advocating the rights of the settlers. So this was one of the partner of Tatar for the second round.
Right.
So I have big worries about this, about the division. Cypriots, those who support the solution, and the others that they are ready to act in a way that Ankara show them.
You mean that
big danger.
Settlers versus native Turk Cypriots, the native Turk Cypriots may come to feel more vulnerable and alienated after these election results, you say. Well, back to Cengiz, and we'll maybe round it up there, unless you want to add some other points. You talked about possible annexation, referendum, etc., etc. The direction that the post-election Northern Cyprus will take, according to you, is that. But is it that easy? Because this option may sound really far-fetched to Westerners, especially EU circles, even United States. What will happen if that happens?
Two things. I mean, one is I think it's a kind of fait accompli. I don't think that as Hasan just mentioned, no one was expecting this result. We were very few to expect this result. And of course, the Europeans especially, but the Westerners in general, cannot read properly the Ankara regime. So they again made a mistake. Now there is a fait accompli, and they will have to live with it. Now, be it absorption or annexation, of course, it will be almost impossible because the northern the part of the island is European Union territory. Mm-hmm. So if Ankara dares in this direction, even with the call by the Ersin Tatar administration, of course, no one will accept this fait accompli, and the isolation of the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus will deepen. But the Turkish states, rogue character will deepen as well.
Turkish Republic
today is a rogue state and very belligerent, pushing everybody everywhere, and it will be seen and read as yet another, negative and belligerent move by Ankara. This is my first point. And the second point is I really feel for my Turco-Cypriot friends, whom I like very much, and they now, unfortunately, it's their turn. We have been kicked out of Turkey in one way or another, physically or not. Now, unfortunately, they will live as foreigners in their own country, and I really feel for them wholeheartly.
One final question to Hasan, and we'll end up there.
Okay.
What should be the reaction of the Anastasiadis administration, the southern part of the island, the Republic?
Anastasiadis yesterday and last night, he was very silent, despite Akel made a statement on this, and the other parties fanatically they did say something. The other anti-solution parties, the small ones. Yes, the Greek Cypriot parties, I mean. But Anastasiadis was very silent. I'm sure they will make a meeting with all these parties and they will react. But this is, it shows that they have the advantage now. Unfortunately, Anastasiadis has a big advantage to say that the other side is not ready to resume the talks, and the other side is not ready to make any conclusion on the discussions. And unfortunately, they will use this opportunity against the solution. So this will affect the table, but we will see in these coming days. I'm sure that UN Secretary General will call for the meeting, and Turkey, because this was the Turkish, it was from Turkey that to come together as a 5-party plus one, and EU will participate in there. So it means that we have to wait a little bit to see what will be the Turkish position. From now on, I cannot use Turkish Cypriot position because there will be no any Turkish Cypriot position. It will be only Turkish position. Ankara. I'm not using Ankara. I'm using AKP because we learned that maybe we hope only that one day Turkish intelligence can act differently. That until now they didn't show any difference, even CHP, even the others. So at the end, unfortunately, we have to wait until to see when they prepare the table and what will be the results. But at the end, I have to say that Erdoğan won. It is Erdoğan that won. Cyprus lost, Turkey lost. I can say Turkey and Cyprus lost, Erdoğan won. This is the
result of the election.
My conclusion, unfortunately.
Okay, we'll end there unless Cengiz has something more to add. Thank you, gentlemen. Hasan Kahvecioğlu, my colleague from Northern Cyprus.
It was very nice to see you all.
And Cengiz Aktar, columnist with Ahval. Thank you for this conversation.